I chose a news article called Landmark Maternal Health Legislation Clears Major Hurdle. So it's an article about how the United States House of Representatives unanimously voted to fund state committees to review and investigate the death of expectant and new mothers. The legislation was passed on December 13th, 2018, and underlines the big problem of how there's a shortage of reliable data about what kills the expectant mothers and what their causes of death are. So the act is known as H.R. 1318, which is the Preventing Maternal Deaths Act, and it helps states improve how they track and investigate deaths of expectant and new mothers. So the bipartisan bill authorizes $12 million a year for new funds over the course of 5 years for states to create these review committees. So these different review committees are tasked with identifying maternal deaths, analyzing the factors that contributed to those deaths, and then translating these lessons into policy changes. So a big part of this kind of top-down sustainable approach is finding all of the data that underlines what needs to be changed, and then legislation that will allow those changes to occur on both the federal and the state level. So some states already have these panels, but this legislation specifically allocates federal funds for the first time to set out guidelines to how they must receive those grants. So more than 700 women die each year from these causes related to pregnancy or childbirth, and there is a racial factor integrated here where Black women actually have a 3 to 4 times higher risk of having complications during childbirth or maternal death. So this is due mainly, as this article states, due to the government failure to collect and analyze data. So without this data, we have no idea why maternal deaths occur to the degree that they do. So these review committees will play a key role in this process by both collecting the data and analyzing the data in order to make legislation changes. So many of these committees currently have little or no funding and rely completely on volunteers for all of their work. So this is developmental prevention effort and quality improvement that aids to these programs. So last week, through some of the different videos and articles that we had to watch and read about the same topic, we saw that there are negatively impacted groups such as racial minorities or those that have lower socioeconomic standing that are unable to have the proper access to healthcare. That's just one of the major underlying things. So it's important to understand these patterns of maternal deaths and begin to analyze the causes and how to combat them. So it can be a multitude of different causes, from the socioeconomic standing to healthcare access to background medical history that was previously unknown. And these different committees will be able to analyze all of that data and have a centralized system for future reference as well. So it is very important to be able to create preventatives that will be able to help lower these percentages of maternal deaths.